Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopichana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Jaya Om Sripad Paramahansa Parvadikacharya Ashtotar the Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parajikacharya Ashtotar the Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Bhakta Glenn, can you give us a little bit open and also close the curtains for me? Thank you. So this being the glorious appearance day of Sri Balarama, we are going to read a special verse from the 10th canto, 2nd chapter, text 8, in which Krishna is speaking to Maya Devi. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this 14th day of August, 2019, in SanDiego, the glorious appearance day of Lord Balaramji, we're reading from the 10th canto, 2nd chapter, 8th verse. This translation and commentary is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Devakya jatade garbham Sheshakyam dhama mamakam Tatsannikrishna rohinya Udade sanniveshaya Devakya jatade garbham Sheshakyam dhama mamakam Tatsannikrishna Tatsannikrishya go rohinya Udade sanniveshaya Devakya jatade garbham Sheshakyam dhama mamakam Tatsannikrishya go rohinya Udade sanniveshaya. Arjuna. Devakya jatade garbham Sheshakyam dhama mamakam Tatsani krishya rohinya Udade sanniveshaya Devakya jatade garbham Sheshakyam dhama mamakam.
Is it mamakan or mamakam?
Mamakam. I'm sorry. I ran out of space.
Oh,
Mamakam.
I was scared.
Yeah, I missed it.
Tatsam Krishna
Tatsannikrishya rohinya Udade sanniveshaya. Bernard? No? Mataji? Hello? Would you like to chant? Devakya jatade garbham Sheshakyam dhama mamakam Tatsannikrishya rohinya Urade sanniveshaya. Glenn, you go. Devakya jatade garbham Sheshakyam dhama mamakam Tatsannikrishya rohinya Udade sanniveshaya. Devakya jatade garbham Sheshakyam dhama mamakam Tatsannikrishya rohinya Udade sanniveshaya. Devakya of Devaki, Jatade, within the womb, Garbham, the embryo, Shesha Akyam, known as Shesha, the plenary expansion of Krishna, Dhamma, the plenary expansion, Mamakam, of me, Tat, him, Sannikrishya, attracting, Rohinya, of Rohini, Udare, within the womb, Sanniveshaya, transfer without difficulty. Translation. So this is Krishna speaking to Yogamaya. Within the womb of Devaki is my partial plenary expansion known as Sankarshan or Shesha. Without difficulty, transfer him into the womb of Rohini. Purport. The first plenary expansion of Krishna is Baladev, also known as Shesha. The Shesha incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead supports the entire universe, and the eternal mother of this incarnation is Mother Rohini. Quote, because I am going into the womb of Devaki, the Lord told Yogamaya, the Shesha incarnation has already gone there and made suitable arrangements so that I may live there. Now he should enter the womb of Rohini, his eternal mother. Close quote. In this connection, one may ask how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was always situated transcendentally, could enter the womb of Devaki, which had previously been entered by the 6 asuras, the Shadgarbhas. We're going to discuss that. Does this mean that the Shadgarbhasuras were equal to the transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? The following answer is given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The entire creation, as well as its individual parts, is an expansion of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, even though the Lord enters the material world, he does not do so. This is explained by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 9:4-5. Mayatitamidam sarvam jagadavyakthamurtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshavastitaha nachamatstani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram bhuta bhrinnata bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. Quote, by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, myself is the very source of creation. Close quote. Sarvam kalvidam brahma. Everything is an expansion of Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yet everything is not the Supreme Godhead, and He is not everywhere. Everything rests upon Him, and yet does not rest upon Him. This can be explained only through the Achintya Bheda philosophy, which means the philosophy of inconceivably, simultaneously, different and one. Such truths cannot be understood, however, unless one is a pure devotee, for the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18:55, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yaban yaschasmi tattvataha. One can understand the Supreme Personality as He is only by devotional service. Even though the Lord cannot be understood by ordinary persons, this principle should be understood from the statement of the Shastras. I think we have to close that. A pure devotee is always transcendentally situated because of executing 9 different processes of bhakti yoga. Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma, Nivedanam. Thus situated in devotional service, a devotee, although in the material world, is not in the material world. Yet the devotee always fears, because I'm associated with the material world, so many contaminations affect me. Therefore, he is always alert in fear, which gradually diminishes his material association. And this fear is now the theme of this purport. So listen up. Symbolically, Mother Devaki's constant fear of Kamsa was purifying her. A pure devotee should always fear material association, and in this way all the asuras of material association will be killed, as the Shadgarbhasuras were killed by Kamsa. It is said that from the mind, Marichi appears. In other words, Marichi is an incarnation of the mind. Marichi has 6 sons, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya, known as lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in pure devotional service. This is confirmed in the Vedas. Bhaktir evainam darshiyati. Only bhakti can bring one in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared from the womb of Devaki, and therefore Devaki symbolically represents bhakti, and Kamsa symbolically represents material fear. When a pure devotee always fears material association, his real position of bhakti is manifested, and he naturally becomes uninterested in material enjoyment. When the 6 sons of Marichi are killed by such fear, and one is freed from material contamination, so the 6 sons of Marichi, which are lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. Marichi, when those sons are killed by fear, and one is freed from material contamination, within the womb of bhakti, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears. Thus, the 7th pregnancy of Devaki signifies the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Balarama. After the 6 sons, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, are killed, the Shesha incarnation creates a suitable situation for the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, when one awakens his natural Krishna consciousness, Lord Krishna appears. This is the explanation given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmidatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance to him and to all members of Sri Parampara. So, I thought I would read this because there's so much mystery. You know, if you just read the bare facts of Krishna's appearance, and you read about how Mother Devaki, Vasudeva, in order to save Devaki from Kamsa's wrath, because when she was just newly married, they were actually sister and brother cousins type of thing. You know, they're always known as sister and brother. But in the Vedic culture, the cousins are so intimate that they're often called sisters. In fact, in the Sanskrit, the word was swastra, which means sister. But Kamsa's father was Ugrasen. Devaki's father was Devaka. Devaka and Ugrasen were brothers. But they had that close relationship. So what happened was that at the time of the marriage of Devaki and Vasudeva, there was a wonderful ceremony, and the bride and the groom got on the chariot and go to the groom's home and take up residence. Everything was very festive. So naturally, the cousin, the brother Kamsa, even though he's a big demon, he took the reins, and showed his affection for his sister. So in Krishna's Leela, you'll find that oftentimes it's Narada, or in this case it's just a voice from the sky, an oracle, kind of pushes the pastime along, creates certain situations for the appearance of Krishna. So everything is going nicely, and then you hear this voice from the sky, Kamsa, you fool! Don't you know that the 8th son of that, actually it doesn't say son, the 8th child of that, of Devaki is going to kill you? And immediately Kamsa freaks out, says, what? And he picks up his sword, he's ready to cut off his own sister's head. Very dramatic scene. So it's a wonderful passage there. It's almost like freeze frame, and now Vasudeva has to figure out what to do. So he starts preaching the Kamsa. And first he gives a wonderful explanation of karma and reincarnation and how, that there's, you're not going to actually be able to avoid your karma and everything. But nothing works until he says it's not going to look very good for you. In other words, he appeals to his self-interest. Here's your sister, and you chop off her head. It'll look bad. So, and I promised, and the key was I promised that I will deliver all the sons to you. And Vasudeva was known as very truthful. He would never break his word. So, after all, it's not your sister you have to worry about. It's her children. Well, I'll give you all the sons. You can do with them whatever you want. You can imagine how that hurt. So Kamsa relented, and so the procedure went on, The procession went on, sorry. So fast forward, eventually what happened, Devaki gave birth to the first child, the first son, and Vasudeva duly delivered him to Kamsa, but Kamsa, showing his magnanimity, he gave him back, But then Narada Muni comes and says, Kamsa, don't be foolish. All the demigods are preparing to take birth for the appearance of Lord Krishna, So finally Kamsa says, any child could be Krishna. So he goes back and puts the Devaki and Vasudeva into the dungeon and takes the child and kills the child. It's ghastly. You can imagine Devaki. So year by year, she keeps giving birth to a male child, and year by year, she's given to Kamsa and kills him. So that's 6. So who are these 6? It doesn't say right in the text, but the backstory is important. Why are they known as asuras? They're children of Devaki. How could they be demons? So here's the story. It involves Hiranyakashipu, of all demons. He's involved in this too. So formerly, a demon named Kalanemi had 6 sons, named Hansa, Suvakrama, Krata, Dhamana, Ripu Mardana, and Krodhanta. He's an asura, he's a demon, so they're all demons. This is extra notes to the first chapter. There's subsidiary notes in the 10th canto, and it's a lot of explanation of things going on in the 10th canto, and this is one of them. So this is Prabhupada's translation of it. And they were known as Shadgarbhas, or 6 Garbhas, and they were all equally powerful and expert in military affairs. These Shadgarbhas, Garbha means fetus, so they were eventually to become fetuses of Devaki. They gave up the association of Hiranyakashipu, their grandfather, and underwent great austerities to satisfy Lord Brahma, who, upon being satisfied, agreed to give them whatever benediction they might desire. When asked by Brahma to state what they wanted, they replied, Dear Lord Brahma, if you want to give us a benediction, give us a blessing that we will not be killed by any demigod, Maharoga, great disease, Yaksha, Gandharva, Patti, Siddha, Charana, a human being, nor by great sages who are perfect in their penance and assert. It sounds very much like what Hiranyakashipu had. Because he hadn't yet been killed. They thought, we'll do what he did, so we'll be immortal like he. So anyway, so Brahma understood their purpose and fulfilled their desire. But when Hiranyakashipu came to know of these events, he was very angry at his grandsons. You have given up my association, and you have gone to worship Brahma. Therefore, I no longer have any affection for you. See, this is typical of the demons. How on a dime they can turn, and people who they loved, like Hiranyakashipu, immediately became the enemy of Prahlad, and Kamsa became the enemy of his sister, So now Hiranyakashipu has now renounced his grandsons, but he can't kill them because they already gave some. But he curses them. So I curse you in this way. You have tried to save yourself from the hands of the demigods, but I curse you. Your father will take birth as Kamsa and kill all of you because you will take birth as the sons of Devaki. So you see, so these 6 first children, they're all reborn demons, but eventually Devaki has love for them, and Krishna will save them. It's a whole another story, part of the story. But here's just the backstory to this. I no longer have any affection. Because of this curse, the grandsons of Hiranyakashipu had taken birth from the womb of Devaki to be killed by Kamsa, although he was previously their father, so he didn't know he was killing his own children. This description is mentioned in Harivansha and so forth. According to the comments of Vaishnav Toshini, the son of Devaki known as Kirtiman was the 3rd incarnation. In his first incarnation, he was known as Smara and was the son of Marichi. Okay. And later became the son of Kalanemi. This is mentioned in the histories. So, back to our original purport. So what's happening here is that Krishna is arranging for his own birth, first by arranging for Sankarshan or Balaram to enter into the womb of Devaki. And just as we should know that Balaram expands into all the paraphernalia to facilitate the service of Krishna. You learn on the altar, right, the chamara and the fan and the asan, the singhasan, and all the little paraphernalia, they're all expansions of Balaram. And that's why we always say, this temple is also, don't lean on the pillars, it's not respectful, this is Balaram. But then you may say, well, we're walking on the floor. Yeah, because we have to walk. And so that's extra mercy from Balaram. But the idea is that we should treat the Dham as an expansion of Krishna for his service, facility for his service. Therefore, always keep it very clean and light, and see it as that way, direct expansion. So I thought we would give that backstory, and I'm going to go back to the original purport here. Forgive me, it is complicated. Yeah, here it is. And so now the whole thing is this idea of fear, how fear is purifying. This is a very interesting concept, because usually we say, oh, Krishna will protect us from fear, and he will. But the fear, let's say, apprehension of material attraction is something that's very purifying for a devotee. As we progress in devotional service, we find ourselves being attracted to Krishna, but there's still these latent attractions for Maya. So that the real devotee is praying, Krishna, please take away these material desires, please protect me, you see. So that fear, that healthy fear of material attraction is purifying for us. It's not exactly the same thing as material fear. It's part of this. It's a spiritual fear. So it's described here that Devaki represents bhakti, and these Kamsa is fear personified. Her fear of Kamsa was purifying her to the point where Balaram and then Krishna himself would take birth from her. And what does the fear do? It kills these 6 sons, which represent Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, which are these 6 enemies that invade our heart and our consciousness. It always begins with Kama. You look at these lists. Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. The Raga is Kama. Kama, Esha, Krodesha. Because it's the material desire separate from serving Krishna, just the opposite of serving Krishna, that brings us into this material world. And then subsequently, the anger comes because of the frustration. And lobha, greed, is just an adjunct of kama. You become more and more attracted to enjoy, and then you want the means of enjoyment, money, and then money itself becomes the object of enjoyment. It's a disease. But these things infect us. And then bewilderment and madness and envy, of others. These are said to be these 6 sons, or Marichi, the 6 sons of the mind. They all come from the mind. So they have to be slain. They have to be overcome to really purify the heart so Krishna will be pleased to come there. to stay there. It's interesting, I was just reading an account, I didn't read the whole chapter, but the cleansing of Gundicha temple is like that. When the Rath Yatra takes place in Puri, it's symbolic of Krishna being taken back from Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. And of course he's coming from Dwarka, so the gopis are saying, we want to have you back in Vrindavan. So their love draws him back. So in Puri, it goes from the big temple to a smaller place. You've seen it, I don't think it. Huh? Gundicha, which is more rural. So in the preparation for Krishna coming, for Jagannath to come, Lord Chaitanya led the cleansing of the Gundicha temple. He himself did the cleansing and showed, and the hundreds came, they threw water on the ceiling as well. The whole thing, this whole pastime. There's a chapter in the Madhya Lila, chapter 12 probably. So, beautiful purport, wonderful purport, Prabhupada quotes from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. How this is symbolic of our cleansing our mind, cleansing our heart, so that Krishna will be pleased to sit there nice and peacefully. We're inviting him. So that cleansing is really, the whole process of bhakti is for that. Cleansing our mind, cleansing our senses, purification through contact with Krishna by all kinds of means, headed by the holy name, of course. So that purifying our heart, of course, it should manifest externally also. Where we live, in the temple, everything clean. And then Krishna agrees to appear when our heart becomes more manifest, because it's peaceful and clean and quiet. And Shanti. It's a beautiful purport. I can give you the reference later. So that's what's happening here. Devaki's heart is being cleansed by the appearance and the killing of these 6 sons who represent these things. And then now the 7th son, of course, is Balaram. Now I wanted to read another little section from Prabhupada's Krishna book, where he talks. Yes. Sorry. I'm trying to find it now. That's not it. Okay. Maybe I put it in here. I'm sorry. This. Okay, here it is. Okay, so this is from the Krishna book, 2nd chapter. I don't know what paragraph, but it's where Krishna is speaking again to Yogamaya. And it's more or less the same section, but Prabhupada gives a little different purport to it. The Lord declared to Yogamaya, my plenary expansion Anantashesha is within the womb of Devaki. On account of being forcibly attracted to the womb of Rohini, he will be known as Sankarshan. As I said, Sankarshan means to draw. It's related to Krishna's name, Krishna. Krishna means to pull or attract. So Sankarshan means that one of the meanings, that he's drawn from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. He will be the source. He will be known as Sankarshan and will be the source of all spiritual power, or bala, by which one can attain the highest bliss of life, which is called Ramana. So you have Balarama, or Balaram. Therefore, the plenary portion Ananta will be known after his appearance either as Sankarshan or as Balaram. It's not so, although he displayed tremendous physical strength as well, it's really the spiritual strength that he gives as the spiritual master. That will come clear here. In the Upanishads it's stated, Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhya. The purport is that one cannot attain the supreme platform of self-realization without being sufficiently favored by Balaram. This phrase means, Nayam Atma, here means the Lord, or it's absolute. Without Bala, you cannot attain it. And it's not physical strength, but it's spiritual strength. Prabhupada explains. Bala here does not mean physical strength. No one can attain spiritual perfection by physical strength. One must have the spiritual strength which is infused by Balaram or Sankarshan. Ananta or Shesha is the source of the power which sustains all the planets in their different positions. Materially, this sustaining power is known as the law of gravitation, but actually it is a display of the potency of Sankarshan. Balaram or Sankarshan is the source of spiritual power, or the original spiritual master. Therefore, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is also an incarnation of Balaram, is the original spiritual master. And the spiritual master is the representative of Balaram, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who supplies spiritual strength. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is confirmed that the spiritual master is the manifestation of the mercy of Krishna. So I wanted to read that because that's a very important concept. How the spiritual master, he is infused with the Shakti, or the energy from Balaram, to give us the spiritual strength in order to practice the process. Without that spiritual strength, we can't do anything. The material energy is too powerful. So that energy comes, that spiritual strength is given by Balaram through the spiritual master, and the original spiritual master in our line is Nityananda. You cannot approach Lord Chaitanya without going through Nityananda, which means in our line, basically, unless you take up wholeheartedly the preaching mission. When you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita or Chaitanya Bhagavat, you'll see that Lord Nityananda was ordered by Lord Chaitanya. Now you go out and preach, especially at first with Haridas Thakur in Navadvip. And Lord Nityananda and Haridas went out famously. They had a certain mantra that they were supposed to tell the people they preached to. Bolo Krishna, Bodo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shika, which I put into a little English. Just chant Shri Krishna's name and worship him with all your heart. Follow his instructions, and to others them impart. This is actually the whole preaching mission. So they would go out, and they met Jagai Madhai. I'm not going to tell the whole story now, but this was essential. Lord Chaitanya, even though they had been born in Brahmin families, but they had become corrupted, and they became dacoits and cheaters and drunkards and rapists, and the people would give them a wide berth. And when they started coming toward them, the people said, "Don't go near them. This would be too much trouble." So Nityananda said, "Oh, these are the perfect candidates." He didn't say, "Oh, if I can convert them, I'll be great." No, if I can give them the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, he will be known as the greatest preacher. This is really part of Lord Chaitanya's mission. So, in spite of the fact that, first of all, they became very angry. Jagai Madhai, they were intoxicated, and they started berating them and then running after them, chasing them. And Nityananda and Haridas had to run away. Luckily, they were so drunk that they fell over and started fighting with each other. But they came. But then the next day or some days later, they started again. They came, and Nityananda insisted, "Bolo Krishna, Bolo Krishna." This time, Madhai threw a shard, a piece of a broken pot, and seriously injured Nityananda. Blood started to flow all over, And still he said, "I don't mind, please chant." This affected Jagai's heart. So when he's getting ready to throw another piece, Jagai stopped him. Some sanity came to him. And he said, no, can't you see he's a saintly person, So by this time the word got back to Lord Chaitanya, and he comes, he gets furious. He's Krishna. So he manifests the chakra, and he's coming, and Jagai Madhai are paralyzed. Oh my God, what have we done? So then Lord Chaitanya says, wait, Jagai saved me. He helped me. So Jagai, meanwhile, they're dandavats, please. So Lord Chaitanya says, "Okay, you're blessed, you're forgiven." And Madhai thought, "I'll do the same thing," but said, "No, you're not forgiven. You have to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda," which they did. They surrendered, and they became completely purified. And and Lord Chaitanya warned them, "Don't think about their sinful activities before. They're now purified and great devotees." And there's a whole lot of other pastimes later when they were very repentant, and everything. But Lord Nityananda showed the preacher's mood, just like Prabhupada, facing down the Naxalites who said fly or die, in Calcutta. These are like dyed-in-the-wool atheistic communists.
They were killing, murdering.
Yeah, and they're still doing it. They still, and so Prabhupada, he said, and so the devotees were like all tensed up. They came into the tent, the big pandal. Oh, to give them a seat, give them some seats, So he's disarming them. And they give them some prasadam, then Prabhupada started chanting Brahma Samhita. And their hearts softened, but the courage of doing that, and many other instances I won't get into. So Prabhupada is perfectly representing Lord Nityananda, and that's why, he became the shelter for thousands and thousands of people who surrendered, because he had the Shakti. So that's a very important aspect of Balaram, how he represents, or he is the source of this bala, or this spiritual power that gives us the strength to practice the principles of bhakti and to refrain from deviating and going off into sense gratification. So we should always pray to Balaram to give us that power. So I didn't want to end without reading some pastimes or recounting some pastimes of Balaram, because in his as he grows up, now Prabhupada says he's only 15 days older than Krishna. He's 15 days older than Krishna. It's actually, in this particular month, it's not quite 15 days. It's going to be 23rd that we celebrate Krishna's appearance day. But, when Krishna, after Balaram went to Rohini, a woman took birth, and then Krishna entered Devaki's womb, and he developed quite quickly, and came out 15 days later. So, but he took that role of the older brother. So he's always in a protective mood, like any older brother. And as they grow up, he's a little older. It's wonderful. We really have to thank her name again? Kamala Sundari? Ramakali, I'm sorry. Ramakali for putting all these wonderful pictures up. And you'll see some of the pastimes. There's one where Krishna's just knocked over the cart, the Shakatasura. And there's Balaram, next to, oh, how's he doing? Because he's also pretending to be surprised, And so it's wonderful to review these pastimes. So there's one pastime that's always been one of my favorites. I'd like to read a little bit of that, and that is the killing of Dhenukasura. Dhenukasura is the donkey demon. Probably all going to ass demon. And, I looked it up. And he represents, these are the whole list of demons that Krishna or Balaram killed, who represent bad qualities, and if we read the pastimes, those qualities can be killed in us. So that's where it's important to read Krishna book, one of the reasons. So this Pralambasura, sorry. Okay. Dhenukasura. Gross materialistic intelligence and ignorance of spiritual knowledge. So this demon has to be killed in us. And so I'm just going to read a little bit of this pastime, because Balaram is featured throughout this chapter. Krishna glorifies him. He's the one who actually kills Dhenukasura, and it's very wonderful. So, sorry. 10. No. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare enough. Just give me a second. Here. Here it is. All right, so Prabhupada, wait a minute. Oh, here. Okay. So it describes chapter 15 of the Krishna book. In this way, Krishna, along with his elder brother Balaram, passed the childhood age known as Kaumara and stepped into the age of Poganda. So Kaumara, the little children to age 5. And then Poganda comes the 6th year up to the 10th. At that time, all the cowherd men conferred and agreed to give those boys who had passed their 5th year charge of the cows in the pasturing ground. Up till then, they were doing a little calf herding. Now they actually get the cows. Given charge of the cows, Krishna and Balaram traversed Vrindavan, purifying the land with their lotus footprints. Accompanied by the cowherd boys and Balaram, Krishna brought forward the cows and played on his flute as he entered the forest of Vrindavan, which was full of flowers, vegetables, and pasturing grass. The Vrindavan forest was as sanctified as the clear mind of a devotee, and was full of bees, flowers, and fruits. There were chirping birds and clear water lakes with waters that could relieve one of all fatigue. Sweet-smelling breezes blew always, refreshing the mind and body. Krishna, with his friends and Balaram, entered the forest, and seeing the favorable situation, desired to enjoy the atmosphere to the fullest extent. Krishna saw that all the trees, overloaded with fruits and fresh twigs, were bending down to touch the ground as if welcoming him by touching his lotus feet. He was very much pleased by the behavior of the trees, fruits, and flowers, and he began to smile, realizing their desires. Now, Krishna has a whole series of verses in that where he praises Balaram. I'll just read a little bit. He says, "My dear brother," he's speaking to his older brother, "you are superior to all of us, and your lotus feet are worshipped by the demigods. Just see how these trees, full with fruits and flowers, have bent down to worship your lotus feet. It appears that they're trying to get out of the darkness that has obliged them to accept the form of trees." And then, actually, this is a comment by Prabhupada. Actually, the trees born in the land of Vrindavan are not ordinary living entities. Having held the impersonal point of view in their past lives, they have been put into the stationary condition. So he goes on praising him, and even the deer whose behavior is just like that of the gopis are welcoming you with the same affection, and the cuckoos who are residing in this forest are welcoming you with their joyful, sweet cries, because they consider that your appearance in their home is so auspicious. Then finally he says, the land is so pious because it's been touched by your lotus feet, and above all these, the damsels of Braja, the gopis, are the most glorious, because you embrace them with your strong arms, being attracted by their beauty. So there's a painting here where you see Krishna and Balarama, and Krishna is it's illustrating this eulogy. So they enjoy the residence of Vrindavan in this way. They herded the cows and the calves, probably put the calves in there, on the bank of the Yamuna. Some places Krishna and Balarama were accompanied by their friends. They were singing, imitating. So it was a beautiful description of their playing. They had different names. These cows are very personal. Krishna knows every single cow. There's 900,000 of them, and they all have names, and he sometimes calls them, and they immediately respond by mooing, and the boys enjoy this exchange. You see? So then they start imitating the birds, the different calls of the birds. Krishna would take a palm fan the body of Balaram. When he'd become a little tired, he would massage Balaram. Balaram took rest. Sometimes they would wrestle among themselves. Krishna would enjoy their company and laugh and praise their activities. So then Krishna would feel tired, and Balaram would come and massage his feet. It goes like this. So he's playing in the forest. There's several descriptions like this, one of the nicest. But then, despite appearing just like a village boy, there were occasions when he proved himself to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes men pose themselves as God, but they can only cheat. They cannot actually exhibit the potency. So as he was playing, the most intimate friends, Sridama, Subal, Stoka, Krishna, addressed Krishna and Balaram. Dear Balaram, you're very powerful. You notice how he's always featured. He's first now. Dear Balaram, you're very powerful. Your arms are very strong. Krishna, you're very expert in killing all kinds of disturbing demons. Will you kindly note that just near this place there is a big forest of the name Talavan. It's really this Tala forest. This is a kind of fruit. Have you ever seen this fruit? What kind of, is it like plums or? Palm trees, okay.
Kind of a plum date mix.
Okay, but
Of course, we don't know what in the
yes, in this
world.
they're very delicious according to the boys, but they can't eat any. No one can reach these trees. It said, the forest is full of them, full of these palm trees, and full of fruit. Some have fallen down. They're very ripe in the trees. It's very nice, but because of a great demon, Dhenukasura, it's very difficult to go there. No one can reach the trees to collect the fruits. Dear Krishna and Balaram, this demon is present there in the form of an ass, and he's surrounded by similar demon friends who have assumed the same shape. You have to understand, there's all this shape-shifting going on. You know, the demons take this, they figure, this is a way to kill Krishna. Other than you, no one can go there. No one can kill him. Other than you, no one can go there for fear of being killed. Not even the animals go there. One can only appreciate the sweet aroma that's coming from that place. It appears that till now, no one has tasted the sweet fruits, either on the tree or the ground. Dear Krishna, to tell you frankly, we're very attracted by this sweet aroma. Oh, dear Balaram, if you like, let's all go there and enjoy these fruits. The aroma of the fruits is now spread everywhere. Don't you smell it from here? Sometimes some of these lines just stick out in my mind. Don't you smell it from here? So when Balaram and Krishna were thus petitioned by their intimate friends, they were inclined to please them, and with smiling faces they proceeded toward the forest surrounded by all their friends. Immediately upon entering the Talavan, Balaram, so Balaram enters first, see, began to yank the trees with his arms, exhibiting the strength of an elephant. It's famous for the strength. Because of his jerking, all the ripe fruits fell to the ground. Upon hearing the sound of the falling fruits, the demon Dhenukasura, who was living there in the form of an ass, approached with great force, shaking the whole field, so all the trees moved as if there were an earthquake. The demon appeared before Balaram and kicked his chest with his hind legs. Now just contemplate for a minute how deferential we are, you know. Bow down to Balaram, offer everything, massage his feet, you know. Imagine kicking on the chest, how offensive that is, right? So this is typical Balaram. He doesn't do anything right away, you know. And then, but the second time is like a thunderbolt, you see. He kicks him with his hands. At first Balaram did not say anything, but with great anger the demon kicked him again more vehemently. This time Balaram immediately caught hold of the legs of the ass with one hand, wheeling him around, threw him into the treetops. While he was being wheeled around by Balaram, the demon lost his life. This is a favorite way of killing. They did it with Chanur, I think, got swung around. Or was it Mustika? One of them got one thing I noted as I first read Krishna book, that Krishna, they're never using any weapons, you know. He just knocks over the cart, you know, he sucks the milk from Putana, he's whirling around, choking, whatever. Because he's not a Kshatriya, he's just a Vaishya. You know, so they're playing like that. When they go to Mathura, and they take up the Vaishya role, the chariot comes down, and you know, they're ready to do battle with Jarasandha, and then it's all arrows and things, you know. It's interesting. So Balaram threw the demon into the biggest palm tree, and the demon's body was so heavy that the palm tree fell upon other trees. Several fell down. It appeared as if a great hurricane were passing through the forest, and all the trees were falling down one after another. This exhibition of extraordinary strength is not astonishing, because Balaram is the personality of Godhead known as Ananta Sheshanaga, who is holding all the planets on the hoods of his millions of heads. He maintains the whole cosmic manifestation. So, it always happens. The demons, they're not only very powerful and dangerous, but they're also really stupid. Because, you know, you would think, okay, here's the most powerful of us, just got killed so easily by Balaram. Let's get out of here. But no, the anger overtakes him and they want revenge. So all of the friends and associates, they come charging in. But this time Krishna joins in. They caught him in the same way, threw him around, killed him. And because of all the dead bodies of the asses, there was a panoramic scene. It appeared as if the clouds of various colors were assembled in the trees. But in the Bhagavatam, the trees were all knocked down, so the demons are really on the ground, looking like clouds. And it says people began to come to the Talavan forest to collect the fruits. And these are like Aborigines. Because of all that blood, you know, the boys didn't really want to take the fruits anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's what it explained in the Bhagavatam commentary. Vishwanath explains it. So then comes the scene of coming back into the village. So, you know, it's not like, you know, they're so upset they just had this big encounter and it's, you know, let's cool down. No, just switch off and now they're happily playing their flutes, you know. When Krishna and Balaram entered the village of Vrindavan with their friends, they played their flutes and the boys praised their uncommon activities in the forest. So on the spontaneous, you know, they made up songs and they're now praising Krishna and Balaram. They just killed these huge demons. That's the way it was every day. Faces decorated with tilak, smeared with dust raised by the cows. Krishna's head was decorated with peacock feather. Both he and Balaram played their flutes, and the young gopis were joyous to see Krishna returning home. Now what's nice about, you know, one of the things about this chapter, all the different rasas are here. You've got the Sakya ras prominently, the friendship ras with the boys, obviously. And then, of course, you have the, now when they come back, there's two beautiful verses describing how the gopis just come out of their houses and just look at Krishna. And with their bee-like eyes, they're drinking the honey of the beauty of his face. Pipva mukunda mukasagaram akshi bringais tapam juhu badahajam vajayoshitoni. And giving up the pain that they felt in the separation, they're just drinking in that honey-like nectar. When they saw Krishna returning, all their anxieties were immediately relieved. They began to look at his face the way drones, bees, hover over the honey of the lotus. When Krishna entered the village, the young gopis smiled and laughed. Krishna, while playing his flute, enjoyed the beautiful smiling faces. And then we get the Vatsalya Rasa, when the mother greets them. Krishna and Balaram were immediately received by their affectionate mothers, Yashoda and Rohini, who, according to the time's demands, began to fulfill the desires of their affectionate sons. Simultaneously, the mothers rendered service and bestowed benediction upon their transcendental sons. They took care of the children by bathing them and dressing them very nicely. Krishna was dressed in yellowish garments, Balaram was dressed in bluish garments, and they were given all sorts of ornaments and flower garlands. Being relieved of the fatigue of their day's work of the pasturing ground, they looked refreshed and very beautiful. They were given palatable dishes by their mothers, and they pleasantly ate everything. After eating, they were seated nicely on clean bedding, and the mothers began to sing various songs of their activities. As soon as they laid down on the bedding, they very quickly fell fast asleep. In this way, Krishna and Balaram used to enjoy life as cowherd boys. So I thought I'd share that. Now, there's one, you know, I was exploring the Gopal Champu a little while ago, and there's all these songs woven in. And one of the songs is exactly like this. It's how Mother Yashoda, and he has a Mother Yashoda receiving both of them, but, you know. And I'll just give you the refrain. It's amazing. It's Harina, Harina, Sahatapadalina, Rajani, Mukamana, Janani, La, Datamitikalita, Jitakalina. So Harina is Hari, that's Krishna. And Halina, that's Balaram carrying the plow, Hala. Harina Harina Sahuripa Dalina. So, describing Balaram, Ripu Dalina means that Dalina is the ripping part, and Ripu is the enemy. He tears apart his enemies, just like we're seeing Tabakata Kamala Vadenakwam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu. Dalita means to, bifurcate. So that's Balaram. It said, and when is this going on? He sets the scene. Harina Halina Sahatabadana Rajani Mukum. When the face of night is showing, then the evening time, when the sun is going on. Rajani Mukam Janani, that's you showed him the mother. Janani Lalam, pampering in all kinds of ways. And then it ends with Janani Lalam Atikalitam Jitakalina, very expertly. And Jitakalina is a name for Krishna, meaning he conquers all of our sinful reactions. And then the song goes on, which I won't share with you, but it is described in 3 verses, how she's massaging and bathing and feeding up to the neck, and then calling the servants to prepare the bed and all this. And then there's some friends looking in, the more intimate friends, and she invites them in, and she does the same thing for them, feeds them and everything, puts them to bed, they have a sleepover, all in one little song. So that's how you... So there's so many other pastimes we have, but we don't have time. Tonight we'll hear more. Maybe we'll hear about Balaram's, my favorite pastime, killing Dravida gorilla. How he killed his Dravida gorilla. I'm sorry, Dravida gorilla. Everyone mistakes in that. I read that pastime and says, oh, there's a gorilla, Dravida. No one hears that, there's Dravida. That's later, because in Dwarka, he joins him in Dwarka. There's all these Dwarka pastimes, and it's a wonderful day. Did you want to share anything before the curtains open? Please, go ahead. Okay. No, to be honest with you, I had to review that whole thing. Is it on?
I don't know.
Yeah, there it is. I have to do some research on that, how that works.
And the second one, do we understand that Balaram would have appeared in the mind of Vasudeva and then transferred to Rohini's mind and into her womb the way Krishna did? Because it just says he appeared in her womb. I was just curious if you had ever heard or read anything.
I've never heard about that. The whole thing of drawing from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, it would seem that is not that doesn't mention the Vasudeva. It's mentioned that he's a father.
On that part.
Yeah. That would be a technical question. I wouldn't know.
And the last one is your grammatical expertise. What's the difference between a concept and a precept? You used the word concept one time.
Concept is an idea.
Right.
Precept is a rule.
That's the word that should be used when describing this precept should be understood. Not
I'm sorry?
It seems
this precept should be understood, yeah. This rule. That's it. Good question. I'm glad I knew the answer. Okay, so we're going to have the greeting in 5 minutes or so. And we
were
can
saying about how they killed the Nakasura. And then they're all back to playing their flute.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada said it's where the cowherd boys would keep time. Because they'd go out in the morning, Krishna would kill a demon. Oh, time for dinner, or time for lunch. Then he would kill another demon in the afternoon. Okay, time to go home. That's how they kept time.
Nice. This morning, for those of you who weren't here for the Mangalarti, there were a couple of verses from the Venugit, where the gopis are singing about Krishna entering the forest, but the first 2 verses described in the commentary, they also include Balaram, because they think, maybe our parents are listening, so we better just include Balaram, So they say, Akshan Vatam Balamidam Naparam Vidama Sakya Pashuna Navavesha Yato Vyasvai. For those who have eyes, Akshan Vatam, there's no greater vision than, I think this painting is up here, than to see Krishna and Balaram entering the forest and playing their flutes and herding their cows along with their friends. And bestowing upon all who see them their loving sidelong glances. And then they describe how Chuta Pavalabaraha, that Krishna and Balaram and all the boys, they're decorating themselves. They've already been decorated by the mothers. But then they give the forest itself, which is also completely conscious, a chance to also participate in the decoration. So they take little, peacock feathers and colored mineral pigments and blossoms, and they continue to decorate. Chutta babala barhasta bhagot balada. And then as they walk amongst their friends, they're shining very brilliantly. And sometimes the boys will sing and Krishna Balaram will dance, and sometimes Krishna Balaram will sing and the boys will dance, And then by the time they get to the third verse, they're only thinking about Krishna. But they resume that for the most famous of them, which is the praise of Govardhan. Hantaya maddada balahadi dasyavarya yadhrama Krishna chadanaspadasho pramora maram tanoti sahagogana yostayo yadpani yasuya vasakanda kanda mulai. This Govardhan hill, now it's interesting to say this Govardhan hill, they're back in the village, but they're with Krishna, their minds are projected so much that they feel they're right next to Govardhan hill. This is in the commentators. This Govardhan hill is the best servant of Krishna. Haridasya Varya. Why? Because they give great pleasure to his cows and his friends. To the cows they give the gourmet grass and the pristine water for drinking, and to the boys also. And they also provide caves where they can go and play, especially when it's raining. You can imagine how wonderful.
Stones.
And stones.
That are for lying and sitting on.
Yes, yes.
That are warm in the winter and cool.
You see, I didn't know that, dear. Thank you so much, Maharaj. And so, the hill itself is very ecstatic because they're being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. Very blessed, The beautiful.
There's a tree on Govardhan Hill.
Yeah.
That has all kinds of different branches.
Uh-huh.
And they act like a patio. They can sit on them. They can play. They can climb. And there are also diving boards that can dive into the nice tree.
And don't forget the edible bulbs and roots that this mentioned in this verse. There's the snacks. So therefore, this Govardhan Hill is the best of it.
I don't know if you had this experience, but Prabhupada also mentions how he and his friends stole a watermelon.
Uh-huh.
So, and I remember there was a man next to where I was, with my little gang of friends, and he had a fruit orchard. We would go in and steal fruit.
Uh-huh.
And when you're a little boy, the adventure of maybe they'll catch you, they chase you. I remember there's some pomegranates and avocado trees. I mean, just, we're little boys, but there's a special flavor in that. I don't know what you're experiencing.
Oh yeah, no, I was too much of a mama's boy. I didn't do any of that. Later on, I got more mischievous. Yeah, well, they're going to.
And he was saying, Mother Yasoda decorates Krishna. Usually he's saying about being a mama's boy.
Yeah.
So Mother Yasoda decorates Krishna, and then he starts to leave.
Yeah.
And he says one last thing. He's just about to get out the door with his friends, and she adjusts, she puts another jewel, and then she lets him go, and he makes it,
Yeah.
the court. One more thing. And he goes, Mata, you want to go out and play with your friends, and your mother's like fixing you up, So it goes on like 5 or 6. She follows him all the way.
Yeah, I remember that.
Decorating him more and touching him. He's going, Mata, just let me go. I want to play with my friends. So Krishna's a mama's boy too.
Yeah.
We talk about the flavor of the palm.
Yeah. Day palms.
When you're driving the thing, if you keep your eyes open, I don't know the exact flavor, but there's a milkshake.
Oh, date shakes.
Yeah.
Glenn, get ready. Closet.
Well, when I was a kid with my parents, we would always, when we were coming down,
Yeah.
or whatever, there was always look forward to date shakes, fresh date shakes. We should make a date shake. Have vanilla ice cream. Love to make some ice cream.
Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Balarama ji.